did you know that despite being so strong, Gojos are afraid of chicken? Here are 16 facts you don't know about our beloved blue-eyed King Gojo. Everyone in anime community thinks that Gojo's character was inspired by Kakashi. Well, I don't blame them because these two look like long-lost twin brothers. Although Gojo's character was not inspired by Kakashi, it was inspired by a Naruto character. His name is Tombo.
Who?
Come on guys, Tombo. Everyone remembers Tombo.
Who?
When Tombo was introduced, he left a great impression on Gege, but when Gege told Kishimoto about him, Kishimoto didn't even know he existed. I mean, damn, imagine being forgotten by your own author. The one thing that cannot be forgotten is Gojo's girlfriend because it does not exist. Despite being the most handsome character in JJK, Gojo does not have a girlfriend because he wouldn't stay faithful. I mean, he's Gojo, he never stays faithful. Despite not being faithful, Gojo is undoubtedly one of the strongest characters in the show, so much so that the Jujutsu Kaisen author Gege Akutami hates him. Yeah, you heard that right, and SBS, Gege said he hated Gojo because he's too strong. Because he's too strong, he does not let the plot of the story to develop, so Gege took the matter in his hand and sealed Gojo in the Shibuya incident. I mean, if Gojo was not sealed, Shibuya would have turned completely different. Despite being the most powerful, Gojo is also the most talented character in the show. He's said to have no hobbies because he would master it in a short amount of time. This is because of his 6 eyes. But the only hobby that Gojo has is eating sweets, which is why most of the time we see him with a candy in his hand. Although having no girlfriend, there was a girl that loved Gojo. And you might get shocked hearing this, but she is none other than Shoko.
What?
Alright, let me explain. You see, Shoko was always in love with Gojo. Although she kicked the habit, she would always smoke when she spoke of her high school days. That's when she was present in Gojo's and Geto's life. But when Geto departed, Gojo convinced himself that he was alone. That's why he seeked strong sorcerers to someday surpass him. He was eluded by this fact so much that he didn't take a step back and see that there was actually someone who loved him. Then Shoko said in chapter 220 that you can always love a blooming flower, but you can't tell it to understand you. We all know the Gojo enlightened saying where he said, "Throughout heaven and earth, I alone am the honored one." But did you know that here, Gojo actually referenced Buddha himself, showing that he was truly enlightened and was awakened at that moment. After being enlightened, Gojo started wearing a blindfold. But did you know why he wears it? Well, it's not actually for fashion. In order to achieve something, you have to sacrifice the other. Gojo wears his blindfold because when he is not wearing it, his eyes rapidly leaks a lot of curse energy and it will lead to him being tired all the time. But thanks to his reverse curse technique, he can negate this possibility and keep himself refreshed. Now let's take a look at Kid Gojo. You see, when Gojo was born, he shifted the balance of the world by his overwhelming power, which led to curses becoming more strong. Because of Gojo's existence, the modern era of sorcerers and curses are the strongest era of Jujutsu Kaisen, second to the Heian era. I mean, imagine being so strong that you can make a whole era so broken.
Sensational.
Speaking of era, did you know that Gojo and Yuta are relatives?
What?
It was stated by Gojo himself in Jujutsu Kaisen Film Zero that their bloodline are connected to Sugawara no Michizane from the Heian era. Sugawara no Michizane is an actual person who lived in the Heian era. He was a famous poet at that time, but in Jujutsu Kaisen, he's one of the big 3 vengeful spirits. Enough talk about the past, let's head back to the present. Did you know that Gojo actually watched anime? Yes, Gojo is a huge Digimon fan. For people who don't know, Digimon is a 1999 Japanese anime television series produced by Toei Animation in cooperation with Wiz, Bandai, and Fuji Television. We saw Gojo reference to Digimon explaining Master Tengen's power. Now changing from anime to the movie, did you ever notice that Gojo was wearing bandages on the Jujutsu Kaisen movie Zero, but he changed it to wearing blindfold? This was because Gege said it was a stress drawing Gojo with bandages, so he switched to a blindfold, make it easier to draw. This also made the animator's job easier because they didn't have to animate bandages one by one. Did you know that Gojo could have won against Sukuna? You see, when Gojo was unsealed from the prison realm, he confronted 15th singer Sukuna and set a date for their fight. This led to many questions about why Gojo didn't fight Sukuna then. You see, the answer is quite funny. It's because Gojo is selfish. Yes, Gojo didn't fight Sukuna then because he wanted to fight the strongest at his strongest state. I mean, if Gojo fought Sukuna then, the manga would have been over by now. Now this fact might shock you the most. You see, when Gojo combines his red and blue, it makes a big giant subscribe button for you to hit. Come on, what are you waiting for? Hit the subscribe button or I will send a hollow purple at you. Despite being one of the most famous characters in anime history, in a recent popularity poll, Gojo did not make it to the first nor even the second spot. He was surpassed by his 2 students, Yuji and Megumi. At least Gojo can rest in peace now knowing that his student actually surpassed him in something. Talking about Gojo's student, did you know that if all of his students jump him in a fight, they wouldn't be able to defeat him? The only 3 students that will actually put a good fight would be Yuji, Yuta, and Hakari. But even the combined force of those monsters is not enough to kill Satoru freaking Gojo. This guy is completely in his own league. Many people think that Gojo has a god complex because he sees himself as the strongest. Well, in reality, Gojo does not overestimate himself. He says he's the strongest because he is actually the strongest. Having both the 6 eyes and the limitless, Gojo has a never-ending supply of cursed energy. Now, changing from the anime to real life, did you know that Gojo's voice actor is as talented as him? Not only is he the voice actor of Gojo, he also voices Mimiya Hajime from Windbreaker, Hawks from My Hero Academia, Buruno Bucharati from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Kuro Tetsuro from Haikyuu, and you get what I'm saying. Gojo's voice actor is as talented as him. If you like this video, I'm sure you will like this one where I rank the top 10 strongest hunters in solo leveling.